I want to make it clear to everyone that no one is calling for a witch hunt. The purpose for which we're gathered here is not an effort to make a lot of black headlines. It's not an effort to attempt to punish an industry which is one of the building blocks of this state's economy. Here then in brief is my idea of why we're here, and here in brief is my idea of why this committee actually exists in the first place. The people of our state are disturbed about automobile insurance rate increases. Secondly, if the rate increases are not absolutely essential, they should not be made. Third, if they are essential, the people of Texas deserve to know the details as to why the insurance rate increases are essential. And last, and perhaps the most important, if there are actions that we can take or actions that we could even suggest to lower insurance rates or to make us all understand why they cannot be lowered,
no time has been set. Everyone is getting their Form 52s, which is a Federal Aviation Administration form to resign. They're filling them out and signing them and waiting to see what the negotiations bring.
So the resignations will be pending the negotiations outcome?
Yes.
What would be the effect, if they do resign, on air traffic?
There would be no air traffic. You would have a few planes from general aviation that would fly, your 4-seaters, your 6-seaters, a few 8s and 10s. None of the airlines would be flying. None of your corporate aircraft would be flying at all.
Would there be others in the aviation field that would join this effort? The pilots?
Well, the pilots have indicated, and it was an unofficial indication, that if as many as go out as we're anticipating are going out, there's no way that they can fly or would fly.
How did this concept come into being?
Jerry, we've determined that a tremendous amount of the expansion in Texas, the number of jobs created, are done by the expansion of local industry. Our basic program has been one of getting out-of-state firms to locate in Texas. But here's a big potential and one that needs to be looked after, and so we've decided to try and come up with some kind of a program to tell the story to local industry that, golly, we appreciate you, that we're happy you're here. We hope if you're going to expand, that you're going to expand here in our community, or at least in Texas, and what can we do to help you? We have not had this kind of a program before. This is a new pilot project.
How did you select Fort Worth?
Well, for two basic reasons. First, Fort Worth has the largest concentration of industrial employment of any county in the state of Texas. And the second, we have a very fine working relationship with the Chamber of Commerce people in Fort Worth, Bernie Larmer and Bill Shelton. Bill used to be on our industrial commission. So we had an already existing line of good communications with the leadership people in the community.
As a result of the threat to quit by the PATCO members, Deputy Regional FAA Director Al Coulter agreed to meet newsmen. He said he had no statement to make, but he'd be willing to answer whatever questions they might choose to put to him.
If the FAA employees, the air controllers, do indeed resign as they have threatened to do, what will the government do then?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I personally do not believe that this is going to come about the way that Mr. Hartson has indicated, or other statements that have appeared in the press. When we talk to these people, they have told us that they've called us at home at night with their own money to pay for the telephone, to tell us, and they've told their supervisors, and they tell people that visit the facilities that they do not like the tactics that PATCO is doing, the way they're doing business, and that they will have nothing to do with this. Many of them have said they're going to resign. So I just, from what was told to us, we just do not believe this is going to happen.
The PATCO members had said that the FAA was now refusing to take out their membership dues, and that's what they were mad about. Mr. Coulter said, indeed, the FAA will no longer take out the dues because the PATCO people have violated an agreement with the FAA, but he said it was inconceivable to him that they would even consider resigning jobs that pay so much money over such a small item. I talked with a number of FAA officials, and some of them said that in their opinion, the real reason behind it all was that since PATCO is a professional organization but has taken a union stance, and since it does not have the right to strike, and since it collects $6 from every member every pay period, they felt they had to do something spectacular to make people continue to feel it was worthwhile to belong to PATCO, and they think that's what it's all about. Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News, Fort Worth.
On August 5th, some 40,000 Dallas County voters are expected to turn out for an election. They will vote on 9 state constitutional amendments, among them a Texas water plan and a possible new ceiling for state welfare spending. As in other off-year amendment elections, a lot of people are expected to stay at home, and so will these controversial punch card voting devices, which caused such an emotional stir during the last general election. We talked with County Clerk Tom Ellis about it.
For this election, August the 5th, the upright automatic voting machine will be used for the constitutional amendments.
Who decides on the type and number of machines to be used in an election?
The election board recommends to the Commissioner's Court the type of machine to be used for all elections held by the county.
What kind of voter turnout is anticipated for this August 5th election?
I'm sticking my neck way out and hoping that we'll have as many as 40 or 45,000. Of course, we'd like to have more than that, but I think that if we get that many, we'll have a good election.
In this warehouse are stored more than 1,800 punch card voting devices recently purchased by the county. Strangely enough, not even the most rabid proponents of the devices seem too disturbed about the fact they won't be used in the upcoming election. Several explanations have been offered for the silence. According to one version, the manufacturers of the punch card devices are on the verge of introducing a new improvement to their machine and do not want to push its use until that new version is operational. One county official who worked very hard for the purchase of the punch card system says he's simply tired of the whole fuss. At any rate, some $250,000 worth of punch card voting devices will sit idle here in this warehouse on August 5th, and suddenly nobody seems to care. Tommy Ayers for Channel 8 News.